Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce week 4 to you, which is June 25th through July 1st. We're looking at verbs that end in AR, ER, and IR, and the verb tener as well. So if you open this up, you want to watch the video first. Study pages 56 to 68 and 78 to 84. You're going to want to review pages 40 to 55 for your test, and pages 4 to 5, 10 to 11, 13 to 17, 24 to 25, 30, 43, 59, and 62 to 65 for your essay. Your module objective for this week, you should be able to describe your physical appearance, nationality, and some of your personality traits to others. You should be able to use verbs that end in AR, ER, and IR to tell what you and other people like to do in Spanish. You should be able to read 2 short texts on the Spanish-speaking world and a student from Spain describing her math class, and be able to answer short answer questions on what you have read, which will demonstrate your ability to read and comprehend short passages in Spanish. You should also be able to use the verb tener to tell what you and others have to do, and what you should, and you should be able to discuss your classes, how you feel, and be able to describe yourself and others. You should also be able to exchange information about classes and talk about how you and others feel. You should be able to use adjectives, adjective agreement rules, article-noun agreement rules, and regular present tense verbs, as well as nationality vocabulary, to write a brief autobiography. All of this week's activities address student learning outcomes 1, 2, and 5. And all the work for this week is due by the end of the day, the 28th of June. We're going to start the same way as always. You're going to want to watch your instructor-made videos, which is going to cover all of those topics discussed in the module objectives. So you've got a couple of videos on regular verbs, some more videos on more of chapter 2's vocabulary, videos on tener que, a little bit of videos on chapter 3's vocabulary, and that's everything. Okay. So after you've watched the videos, you want to go into the class participation forum, click on the thread, hit reply, and post any questions or concerns you have about the material covered in the videos, or any other questions or concerns you have about the class. And remember, even if you have none, you need to post that you have no questions, because again, this is just a way for us to check in with each other. So I need to know, and it does count as a grade, so even if you think it's silly, that's fine. You have to post, and if you don't post, you'll get a 0. Okay, this week you have a reading comprehension quiz, so you're gonna, it says you have 2 hours to complete it and only 1 attempt, so don't open it until you're ready. So if we open up the reading comprehension quiz, you're gonna see 2 passages, so you wanna read both of these. And then when you're ready, you'll start your attempt, and they're both posted again here, so you can refer back to them when answering the questions. So you're asked various questions. If the questions are in, you've been asked questions and then you've got a response. If the response is in English, then you can fill in the missing pieces in English as well, or I want you to fill it in English as well. If, however, it's in Spanish, then I want you to fill it in Spanish. Again, remember, these are fill in the blank, so if you misspell it, or maybe you don't put it in the right order, it's going to mark it wrong, and I'm aware of this. I have to go back and manually grade these. And then you also have a bunch of true-false questions as well, which the computer should be able to handle okay. Okay. Assignment 6, you're going to visit my language labs, and you can complete these SAM activities and extra practice activities. So if you go out here and you go over to June and the 28th, all of those assignments that are listed in Moodle should also be out here. You just want to click on each and every one, answer the questions, hit finish and submit for grading. Remember, there's an accent bar and upside down question marks and exclamation points up at the top. And you can do these assignments as many times as you would like before the due date, but if you do it more than 3 times, I would say you probably want to reach out to me, because there's a bigger issue going on and you don't want to keep banging your head against a wall. So reach out to me if it takes you more than 3 tries to get it right. Reach out to me. Oral dialogue preparation. I told you before, the last one, the oral dialogue, was really easy, so I just went ahead and let you guys do it. This time we're going to do prep. So you're going to do a workshop. So when you open up your workshop, Okay, so when you open up the workshop, it should look like this. You're going to want to read the instructions. You're getting ready to post your first video blog in Spanish, and have decided to describe an important person in your life, a friend, family member, or influential teacher. You will need to give a description of him or her orally. Include the following information. So you're going to do this eventually orally, but we're going to start with a script. So you're going to write all this information, okay? So you're going to tell me of this influential person. You're going to tell me his or her name, your relationship to him or her, his or her nationality, where he or she is from, what he or she studies and what he or she does, like whether he or she, your person is a student or whether they're in the workforce. So just if they're a student, tell me that they're a student and what they study, and if they're in the workforce, then just tell me what they do for a living. A physical description, some aspects of their personality, so you can use your, adjectives that we've learned, like saying, that they're generous or they're nice, etc. And other interesting facts, what's their favorite book or music or things you guys do together. So you'll write this script, and then next week you're going to, anyway, when you're ready, you will click start preparing your submission, and you're going to write the script, and then you're going to submit it. Next week, you're going to see this thing again, but you're not going to be able to see your own script. You're going to see somebody else's, and you're going to critique it. And I'll talk about that more when we get to next week. And then after that, I will make it so that you can see your feedback. You're going to use your feedback, and from there, you're going to do your actual oral recording. And so I will also give you feedback. So you just want to make sure when you get to the final piece that we've done all this prep work. So you want to use this particular script for your oral. A lot of times people will go through all this and then they'll come up with a completely, they'll say something completely different in their oral dialogue presentation. But I really want you using this script. That's why we're doing the work for it. Okay. You also have a test on chapter 2, and then we have prep for a writing assignment. So I'll go back, test on chapter 2, test 3. I'll talk about that in a minute. For your writing assignment, you're doing another workshop again. So you're going to want to open it up. Okay, sorry, I was in the wrong phase. Mi autobiografía. So you've decided to start a blog entirely in Spanish and are trying to attract readers. Write your first post, an autobiography. So in your oral dialogue, you're writing about someone who was influential to you. This time you're writing about yourself. Include at minimum all the following information and give as much detail as possible. Your name, where you're from, your nationality, your birthday, where you live, a physical description, some aspects of your personality, at least 3 activities you do during a typical week or weekend. So this is very similar to what you're doing for the oral, only you're talking about yourself as opposed to someone else. When you're ready, you're going to hit start preparing your submission. You're going to type out what you want to say. And again, next week, you'll have 2 things to critique then. You're going to critique someone's oral script, and you're also going to critique someone's writing. And then you're going to want to use, so then the following week after that, I'm also going to go in and critique these, and you're going to use that information to write your final draft. Okay. All right, so then test 3, which is on the first half of chapter 2. Again, you have 3 hours, so don't start it until you're ready, and you only have 1 attempt. Jorge has a busy week ahead of him. Use the information provided in his schedule to answer each of the following questions. Be sure to write out all times and words and include expressions for AM and PM. Meaning you can't use AM and PM, you need to use de la mañana, de la tarde, de la noche. And so basically the questions are asked here. Part of the answer is given. You're going to fill in what's missing based on the schedule you see above. Okay, here, Anita y Carlos, your professor has asked the class to choose a pen pal from the Hispanic world who would you like to write to? Listen to the description of the 2 remaining students and then choose the best word to complete each sentence. So you're going to listen to this dialogue. Okay, so it's a long dialogue. You'll listen to it, and then you're gonna be asked questions. Anita estudia. Well, what does she study based on what you heard? It's the same link for all of them that say Anita y Carlos, so you can continue to listen to the audio again and again, but you don't have to because it's the same audio, and these are just the questions that go with it. Okay. De qué país? Help your classmate learn the nationalities by completing the following sentences with the appropriate nationality or country. So sometimes you're going to be given the country that the person's from and you need to give their nationality. Sometimes you're going to be given the person's nationality and you need to give the country. Okay. Verdad. Read each of the following sentences carefully, then form a yes-no question for each by either inverting the subject and verb or by using a tag question. So you're taking this statement and turning it into the question that would give you that answer, okay? And I'll show you how to make upside down question marks. You're going to want to have to set up your international keyboard, which is on the, actually, I'll just go ahead and do it. It's on the left-hand side. So if you go back out to our site, on the left-hand side, there should be a video. It says how to set up a Spanish keyboard needed for making accent marks. If you watch this video, it tells you how to make a Spanish keyboard. And then that's a link to the strokes that you would use when you set up your keyboard. So you can see down here at the bottom of my screen, I'm on the English keyboard, but I can switch it to Spanish. And then some of my keys make different marks when I have it set to Spanish. Okay. Okay, ¿cómo son? How much do you know about the people and places below? Find out by using the words provided to create a logical sentence. So here you're given bits and pieces. You need to make a complete sentence from the bits and pieces you've been given. And so make sure that you worry about agreement. So like if your subject is multiple people, then remember your adjectives have to agree in number and gender with those people. So you may be changing those adjectives. And you also have to change ser. And sometimes you might need to add in an article if needed. Okay. ¿Qué hora es? Complete each sentence with the appropriate word or phrase to express the time. So some of it's been given, you're filling in what's missing. Las palabras interrogativas, you've been given the interrogative words up here. Here you've got a question, missing an interrogative word, and you have a response. With that information, pick the question word that would best complete the sentence. And that's everything you have to do for the week and everything you have to do for this test.